The critics of data science complain that, quotation mark, data without theory is lame, close quotation mark. That is their call of battle. They argue that the approach of data science can make you look really smart for a time, but then things change for no apparent reason because the rules of data science contain no mechanism for explanation and no explanation. That's it. Correlation that works to solve problems and give predictive value without explanation is lame and bad because it does not explain. These critics are kind of missing the point. All present science, mainly through the fictions of cause and effect and induction, and the illogic of induction, only provide explanations for its predictions until the predictions stop working. Eventually, historically, and by logical necessity, they will all stop working as the sense experience they try to explain gets more complicated. Scientific statements can only be falsified. They can never give truth. Correlation simply achieves this same predictive value and meaning, only without the fiction of explanation and the paradoxes of induction and cause and effect. Thus, it can deal with the vast amount of facts and data now produced by the modern world. The old school scientific models cannot deal directly with this complexity, and neither can the human mind's ability to synthesize the vast amount of facts and data that is now available into theory or explanation. The problem with correlation without theory is not with the methodology, epistemology, or ontology. It is aesthetic and normative. Humans, including scientists, want explanation and the power it gives. Not only the power over nature, but the power over others it gives when the explanations expand from being epistemic norms to norms for ultimate values, or ethics and morality. Scientists and Nietzschean artists alike want to proclaim God is dead, and then write about the God delusion so that they can become demigods based on their delusions of explanation and reasoning as a foundation for arguing what others ought to be and what others ought to be doing. For example, contemplate genetics with its present scientific value of predicting and thus creating the possibility for preventing or curing illness and disease, a value whose reality and potential increases every day toward a better material future. As long as it has statistical analysis and an assumption of randomness to make its correlations between genes and environment, it does not matter why it works or whether DNA changes the environment or the environment changes DNA. Genetically speaking, geneticists can use the most popular explanation for the predictive value of their science, consisting of evolution, while others, such as geneticists Francis S. Collins and Francesco J. Alalaya, who are religious Christians, can explain it by biologos. Others who are strict rationalists can explain it by intelligent design, and now even technocrats have entered a dog in the dogfight by asserting the universe is a giant computer simulation by a greater intelligence than our own. Genetics does not care about any of these explanations in order to solve the problems presented to it and to make predictions. The only ones who care about these explanations are the advocates of these assertions and explanations. Genetics does not care and can do its job regardless of which of these explanations are true or can never be proven true. There is a modern need to make science a religion, something it is not, nor was ever intended to be. Again, as the philosopher of science Paul Federan said, quotation, "Let them have their belief if it gives them joy. Let them also give talks about that. We touch the infinite." And some people say, yeah, he says he touches the infinite. And some people say, yeah, he says he touches the infinite. But to tell the little children in school, now that is what the truth is, that is going much too far, close quotation. It was never in the meaning of scientific words or for the language game of science to be a religion or to deal with the ultimate values or meaning of life. Quotation, "We feel that even if all possible scientific questions be answered, the problems of life have still not been touched at all." Close quotation. Ludwig Wittgenstein. Granted, correlation gives us many spurious correlations, but how is this any different from physicists telling us we in the universe are made up of unobservable atomic particles that are not really particles, but waves of mathematical probabilities and relationships between mathematical calculations of four mathematical forces that exist entirely as numbers until we observe them, at which point they become a particle number that does not exist at any particular point in space because of an uncertainty principle, as long as, of course, the force of gravity is negligible. We believe all of this when they tell us this stuff because physicists can use these explanations to make atomic bombs. And we believe them even though most of us have no clue as to what they are talking about. The explanations work. If correlations work, then they work and are scientifically equivalent to any language word games that gives us predictive meaning and value that can be tested by parameter-controlled, repeatable, falsifiable experiments, regardless of any lack of cause and effect or other explanation. Thus, data science is a scientific language word game and a scientific method. Furthermore, anyone can argue with the correlation expressed by numbers and disagree with them normatively, regardless of their predictive value. Anyone can make normative, intelligent decisions as to whether they should be acted upon, whether the correlations should be acted upon, assuming, of course, that the algorithms and source data are not kept secret by the powers of the law and ruling class ideology that is an issue beyond this podcast episode. Numbers, unlike all other language games, do not have normative meaning until we give them such meaning. How does one argue with a religious belief in an intelligent and personal God, with a secular religious belief in evolution, asserting the survival of the fittest, with the fittest defined as those who survive, or with artificial intelligence coders who believe the universe is one big computer simulation? People believe in such beliefs because they want to believe in them, as a result of leaps of fate, not because numbers in a graph assert them. With numbers, we can at least agree to argue about the numbers and then go on to normative theories. The language of numbers does not have normative meanings until translated into words. All other languages do have normative meaning existentially. Thus, data science and its replacement of hypotheses and explanation by correlation has the potential for materially changing the normative word games of ethics and morality, something I will consider in the next episode.